Hi, I'm Kristen, and in this video, I'm going to ask Andrey Minkov, the founder of Trademark Factory, a bunch of questions about trademarks. Let's see if he can answer them in under 10 seconds each. Here we go. What is a trademark?
A trademark is what gives you the legal right to stop everyone else from marketing similar products or services under a brand similar to yours.
Why should business owners trademark their brands?
Well, 3 reasons. 1, to make sure nobody forces you out of your own brand. 2, to stop copycats from stealing your customers. And 3, to build a valuable asset for your business.
Can't you accomplish the same result by incorporating your company or registering an LLC?
No, only a federally registered trademark gives you a presumption of ownership and validity that you can use to enforce your rights in court.
What about registering a domain name?
No. If it was this easy, why do companies like Google and Facebook bother trademarking their brands after they've bought up their domain name?
What about social media profiles?
Take a guess. Nope.
What about placing a TM next to your brand?
A TM symbol means that you want the world to think you own your brand. It doesn't mean that you actually own it.
What about copywriting your logo?
Nope. You might be able to protect your image as a piece of art, but copyright would not protect your logo as a brand.
What if you came up with the name first?
Doesn't matter. It's not about who comes up with a name first. It's about who can prove that they own it.
What can you trademark?
You can trademark the name of your business, names of your products, names of your services, your logos, and your taglines, and also combinations of all these.
When should you trademark your brand?
As soon as you realize that you have a brand worth building and promoting. There's no reason in the world to spend a minute of your life or $1 out of your pocket building a brand you don't own.
Should you incorporate your company or get an LLC before you file your trademark?
Not necessarily. You can always transfer a trademark you own as an individual to a company you form later, but it's often too late to trademark your brand because you've waited too long to form your company.
Where should you trademark your brand?
Start with your home country, then consider trademarking in countries where you have a lot of customers, then where you have a lot of marketing expenses, and finally countries where you manufacture your products.
What are Madrid Protocol trademarks?
If you want to trademark your brand in 5, 7, or more countries, you may save by filing an International Madrid Protocol trademark application. The more countries you cover, the more you save.
What about the European Union?
When you register your trademark in the EU, your brand is automatically protected in all 27 countries of the European Union.
How long does the trademarking process take?
Depending on the country, it takes anywhere from 6 months to 4 years to register a trademark. On average, it takes 1.5 years in the US and 3-4 years in Canada.
What takes so long?
After you file your application, first it needs to be examined and approved by the Trademarks Office. Then it needs to survive the opposition period and get allowed. Only then will it register.
Can anything be registered as a trademark?
No, you can't trademark something that wouldn't help potential customers tell your products and services apart from identical or similar products and services of everyone else.
For example?
You can't trademark brands that are too close to those that are already trademarked by someone else. Also, you can't trademark generic terms. In most countries, you can't trademark descriptive trademarks.
What's a generic term?
A mark is generic if it's the common term for a general class of products and services, like you can't trademark the word pencil if you sell pencils, or the word accounting if you are an accountant.
What about descriptive marks?
A mark is merely descriptive if it only describes a feature, benefit, or promised result of the product or service. For example, sharp for pencils or timely for accounting.
You said that descriptive brands cannot be trademarked in most countries, not all?
Yeah, in the US, under certain circumstances, you may be able to trademark your descriptive brand on the supplemental register. It's not as good as a trademark on the principal register, but it's better than nothing.
What's the difference between the supplemental register and the principal register?
The main difference is that to enforce a supplemental register trademark, you'd still need to prove that enough people recognize you under your brand. This is implied in case of principal register trademarks.
So generic and descriptive are not great. What is better?
Suggestive marks are okay, arbitrary and fanciful marks are great, and so are distinctive combinations.
Okay, let's go through these terms one by one. What are suggestive marks?
Suggestive marks only allude to features and characteristics of your products and services in a much more subtle way. Trademark Factory is a good example of a registrable suggestive mark.
What about arbitrary marks?
Arbitrary marks are dictionary words used for products and services that have nothing to do with these words. A few examples: Apple for phones, or Canon for cameras, or Domino's for pizza.
And fanciful marks?
Fanciful marks are invented words that have no meaning other than to identify specific products or services. For example, Kodak, IKEA, or P90X.
And what was that last one? Distinctive combinations.
It's when you put several words or other brand elements together in a way that helps people distinguish your products or services from everyone else's. For example, Western Digital or YouTube.
You also mentioned that you can't trademark brands that are too close to those of someone else.
Yeah, it's called likelihood of confusion. If your mark is likely to confuse the public into thinking that your products or services come from the same source as products and services marked by that other brand, they're confusingly similar.
So how do you know when close is too close?
Well, you look at whether the two brands look similar, sound similar, or even have a similar meaning. So you can't make a small change to someone else's brand and expect that your trademark will go through.
So it's more than just checking the database for identical marks?
Exactly. That's why you need to do a proper comprehensive trademark search to really see what's out there that can prevent your trademark from getting registered.
What goes into a trademark application?
Well, there are three main elements to any trademark application: the owner, the trademark itself, and the list of goods and services that the trademark should cover.
Tell me more about goods and services.
When you trademark your brand, you get a limited monopoly that will give you the right to stop others from using your brand in connection with specific products and services you've listed in your trademark application.
So someone else may have the same brand for different products and services?
Yes, as long as their products and services are not related to yours. For example, the same word Delta has been trademarked by the airline company and also a company that makes faucets.
So you just list everything you want your brand to be known for?
Pretty much, as long as it's a legitimate product or service. A good starting point is to check if you can fit each item off your list into one of the 45 official classes of goods and services.
Classes?
Yeah, there's an official classification that divides everything under the sun into 34 classes of products and 11 classes of services. When you file your trademark, you should specify which class each product or service belongs to.
What are classes for?
Well, first, it makes it easier to search other marks and see if they're confusingly similar. And second, the government filing fees are calculated based on how many classes you file your application in.
Government fees?
Yeah, unfortunately, the government will always take their pound of flesh. In some countries, in addition to filing fees, there are also fees you pay after the government allows your trademark.
How much are the government filing fees?
The amount is different for each country, but it's typically a few $100s for each class of goods and services.
What about the US?
The filing fees are $350 per class of goods and services. So if you file your trademark in two classes, for example, apparel and entertainment services, that's classes 25 and 41, you're looking at government fees of $700.
So you said the process takes about a year in the US. What happens after you file your trademark application?
Ideally, the trademark examiner will approve your trademark and publish it for opposition purposes. In most cases, unfortunately, they will issue an office action.
What's an office action?
It's a document where an examiner from the trademark's office lists the reasons that the examiner believes your trademark should not be registered.
How common are these office actions?
The statistics show that anywhere between 68 and 81% of filed trademark applications will get at least one office action. Sometimes there are several.
What reasons are the most common for office actions?
There are three main types of rejections. They could relate to problems with your application, problems with your trademark itself, or problems with your evidence of use.
Can you elaborate?
Yes, but not in a 10-second answer. There are just too many things that can go wrong and even more ways to go about it.
Okay. What happens if you get an office action?
You should fight back and either satisfy the examiner's requirements or argue why the examiner is wrong.
How long do you have to respond to an office action?
Usually it's 6 months.
What happens if you don't respond on time?
Your trademark application will die a painful death.
And if you respond, but your response doesn't satisfy the examiner?
They'll issue a new office action that you will need to respond to.
What about oppositions?
Once the Trademarks Office approves your mark, they will open the floor for the public to raise their hand and oppose the registration of your mark.
How are people supposed to find out?
In theory, they can find information about all approved trademarks online or in a printed publication, but nobody really checks those, so the risk of your trademark being opposed is about 1%.
Does your trademark get registered once it survives the opposition period?
In some cases, you would also need to go through certain formalities.
Such as?
For example, before your intent to use trademark gets registered in the US, you will need to prove that you're already selling products or services under your brand.
Intent to use?
Yeah, if you file your trademark application before you've started selling your products or advertising your services, it's called an intent to use trademark, and there are special rules around those.
When can you use the TM symbol next to your brand?
Anytime. You don't even need to have filed your trademark application. Remember, a TM symbol means that you want the world to think you own your brand. It doesn't mean you actually own it.
What about the R in a circle?
That one you can only use once your trademark application is registered.
Speaking of registered trademarks, how often do you need to renew them?
Once every 10 years. Plus, there's one maintenance filing you need to make in the US between the 5th and 6th anniversary of your trademark registration.
So there are no annual maintenance fees?
Nope.
Wow, we've just learned a ton about trademarks. It looks like there's a lot more to it than suspected. Where can people learn more about trademarks?
I've published over 800 videos on YouTube that you can watch. You can also go through my 6-hour course that teaches you everything you need to know about trademarks.
How would someone find the course?
Just go to learn.trademarkfactory.com and sign up from there.
But what if rather than learning about trademarks, you want someone to just do it all for you?
Well, that's what Trademark Factory is really all about. In fact, we're the only company in the world that will help you trademark your brand with a guaranteed result for a guaranteed budget.
What does this mean?
It means that a fixed fee we charge up front will cover the entire process from start to finish with no hidden follow-up charges. And if your trademark doesn't go through, you get all of your money back.
What's the fee?
The actual amount will depend on how many trademarks in how many countries and which of our packages you're going to go with.
Can you give me an idea of how much?
Sure. On average, your client spends about $3,200 plus the government fees with us.
Wow. But some websites offer to file your trademark for $99 or something like that. Why would entrepreneurs use Trademark Factory?
Well, yeah, if all you want is to pay someone to file your trademark, you can use these websites. If you're interested in getting your trademark registered with a money-back guarantee, then use Trademark Factory.
But what about traditional law firms?
Well, they usually know how to get the job done. Problem is, you'll be on the hook for their billable hours once your trademark gets an office action, and they don't offer any refunds in case your trademark doesn't go through.
So how would business owners get started with Trademark Factory?
Well, that's really easy. All you need to do is request a free call with one of our strategy advisors. During the call, we'll answer all your questions and help you get started if there's a good fit.
And then what?
Well, assuming you become a client, the first thing we'll do is run the comprehensive search to check if your brand is trademarkable. If it is, then we'll start working on your trademark application.
And if you see any issues with the brand?
Then you can either get a full refund or have us do as many additional trademark searches for you for free until you come up with a brand that you love and that we tell you is trademarkable.
It really does sound simple.
Well, that was the whole idea behind Trademark Factory, to create a no-brainer offer for brand owners who are serious about their brands.
Well, I'm out of questions. Just like Andrei said, if you have a brand you want to protect, make sure you check out Trademark Factory.